Hey, everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a moment that's still sending shockwaves through the wrestling world. A moment so raw, so real, that it transcends the scripted drama we know and love. Picture this. It's March 13th, 2025, a chilly Thursday night, and we're inside a packed WWE arena. The crowd's buzzing after an incredible match. Maybe it's Roman Reigns defending his title or Bianca Belair stealing the show. The energy's electric, the kind of night where you feel the magic of wrestling in your bones. But then, everything shifts. The house lights drop, plunging the arena into a sea of shadows. The Titantron flickers off. And out walks Seth Rollins. Now, if you know Seth, you know he's usually all swagger, leather jacket, sly grin, ready to burn it down. But not tonight. His steps are slow, deliberate, like he's carrying a weight we can't see. His head's bowed, his hands clenched into fists. The crowd quiets down, not out of boredom, but out of instinct. Something's off. He grabs the mic, and the camera zooms in tight on his face. You can see it, the redness in his eyes, the quiver in his jaw. This isn't a promo. This isn't kayfabe. This is real life crashing into the squared circle. Seth takes a deep breath, looks out at the sea of faces, and says words that hit like a punch to the gut. I come to you tonight not as Seth Rollins, the wrestler, but as Colby, the husband. Becky, my wife, my partner, my everything, has been diagnosed with a serious health condition. It's going to keep her out of the ring for the foreseeable future. The arena gasps. A woman in the front row covers her mouth. A kid holding a Becky Lynch sign freezes, wide-eyed. Seth's voice cracks as he continues. This is the hardest thing I've ever had to say. Becky's the strongest person I know, and she's facing this with all the fire she's got. But it's a tough road, and we need you, the WWE Universe, more than ever. And just like that, the chants start. Becky! 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 It's not a cheer, it's a plea, a prayer, a show of love echoing off the rafters. Seth nods, tears spilling over, and whispers, "Thank you." The screen behind him lights up with a single image. Becky Lynch, arms raised, defiant as ever. But tonight, that defiance feels fragile. So what happened? What's this news that's left us all reeling? Let's step back and unpack the story of Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, their rise, their love, and the moment that changed everything. To get why this hits so hard, we need to know who Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch are, not just as wrestlers, but as people who've poured their souls into this business. Let's start with Seth. Seth Rollins, building an empire. Born Colby Lopez on May 28, 1986, in Davenport, Iowa, Seth didn't grow up dreaming of the bright lights of WWE. He was a kid obsessed with wrestling, sure, but his path was gritty. He cut his teeth on the indie scene as Tyler Black, wrestling in bingo halls and gyms for Ring of Honor, where he won the ROH World Championship with a style that blended high-flying risk with technical precision. That caught WWE's eye, and in 2010, he signed with their developmental territory, Florida Championship Wrestling, which soon became NXT. Seth's big break came in 2012 when he debuted on the main roster as part of The Shield. Alongside Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, now Jon Moxley, they were a force of nature. Black vests, tactical gear, and a mission to dominate. Seth was the architect, the strategist who planned their chaos. They tore through WWE, winning the tag team titles and making stars like John Cena look mortal. But the real turning point was June 2, 2014. The Shield was at its peak when Seth grabbed a steel chair and smashed it across Roman's back, then Ambrose's, betraying his brothers. It was a heel turn for the ages, and it launched Seth into the stratosphere. He cashed in his Money in the Bank contract at WrestleMania 31. Stealing the WWE Championship from Brock Lesnar in one of the most iconic moments in history. Since then, he's won the Universal Championship, headlined pay-per-views, and evolved into a flamboyant, visionary leader, dripping in custom suits and bold ideas. Seth's not just a wrestler, he's a workhorse. He's wrestled through injuries, remember that torn MCL in 2017, and built a legacy as a guy who never phones it in. His matches with Cody Rhodes in 2022, especially that Hell in a Cell classic, showed his guts. Off-screen, he runs a wrestling school, the Black and Brave Academy, giving back to the next generation. That's Seth Rollins, relentless, creative, and a cornerstone of WWE. Becky Lynch, the making of the man. Now, let's talk about Becky Lynch, Rebecca Quinn, born January 30th, 1987, in Dublin, Ireland. Her story's different. She didn't have a silver spoon or a straight shot to the top. At 15, she started training in a tiny wrestling school in Ireland, learning the ropes, literally, before hitting the European indie circuit. She wrestled under names like Rebecca Knox, scrapping for every opportunity, until a head injury in 2006 sidelined her for years. She stepped away, worked odd jobs, even studied acting, but wrestling called her back. In 2013, she signed with WWE and joined NXT. Her early gimmick, a green-clad Irish lass doing jigs, wasn't her. But she clawed her way up, debuting on the main roster in 2015 with Charlotte Flair and Sasha Banks. The women's evolution was kicking off, and Becky was part of it, winning the SmackDown Women's Championship in 2016. Still, she was the underdog, overshadowed by flashier stars. That changed in 2018. After months of being overlooked, Becky snapped. She turned on Charlotte at SummerSlam, and the crowd roared. She dubbed herself the Man, a bold, brash persona that flipped the script on gender norms. Fans ate it up. Her promos, sharp, unfiltered, cut deeper than any move. By November, she was the hottest act in wrestling, bloodied and defiant after a brawl with Ronda Rousey's crew, staring down the camera like she owned the world. WrestleMania 35 was her pinnacle. In the first women's main event, she pinned Ronda Rousey to win both the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships. 2 belts, 1 night, history made. Becky became the face of WWE, a symbol of grit and rebellion. She's taken breaks, had her daughter, Rue, in 2020, but always returned fiercer, her legacy as the Man, untouchable. A love forged in the ring. Seth and Becky's paths crossed in WWE, but their romance bloomed in 2019. They went public that May, got engaged by August, and married in June 2021. Their daughter arrived 6 months later. They're private about it, but their bond shines through, tagging each other in workouts, trading playful jabs on X, supporting each win and loss. Becky's called Seth her anchor. He said she's his inspiration. Together, they're WWE's power couple, a real-life story that rivals any scripted drama. Back to that night, March 13, 2025. Seth's words hang in the air like a storm cloud. A serious health condition. He doesn't specify, maybe it's an injury, maybe something worse, but the vagueness only amplifies the dread. The crowd's chants grow louder, a wall of sound trying to shield their heroes from pain. Seth grips the mic tighter, his knuckles white. Becky's always been the fighter in our family, he says, forcing a smile. She's faced giants, Ronda, Charlotte, Asuka, and never backed down. This is just another match for her. She's got her game face on, and she's ready to win. But it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And we can't do it alone. He pauses, scanning the crowd. A guy in the Man shirt wipes his eyes. A little girl waves a sign, "Get well soon, Becky." Seth's voice softens. You've cheered her through every title reign, every comeback. Now, she needs that energy more than ever. I need it. So please, keep her in your thoughts, your prayers, whatever you've got. Because the WWE Universe? You're our strength. The Titantron flickers, and a pre-recorded video from Becky plays. She's in a cozy room, maybe their home, wearing a black hoodie, her red hair pulled back. She looks tired but resolute. Hey, WWE Universe, she starts, her accent warm and familiar. So, yeah, you've heard the news. I won't sugarcoat it, it's rough. The last few weeks have been a blur of doctors and decisions. But I'm still here, still kicking. I've got Seth, I've got Rue, and I've got all of you. That's more than enough to get me through. She leans closer to the camera, her eyes fierce. I'm not done. The ring's my home, and I'll be back. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next month, but I will. Until then, keep the faith. Keep cheering. And maybe save me a front row seat, yeah? She winks, but her smile fades into something softer. Love you all. See you soon. The video cuts out, and the arena explodes. Applause, cheers, sobs, it's chaos, but it's beautiful. Seth drops the mic, covers his face for a moment, then looks up with a mix of pride and pain. That's my girl, he says, barely audible over the roar. The camera pans the crowd. Signs light up, "Stay strong, Becky. We fight with you." A group of fans starts singing Sweet Caroline, Becky's old entrance theme, until the whole place joins in a tearful serenade. Seth steps out of the ring, stopping to hug a fan in a Becky shirt before disappearing backstage. This wasn't a storyline. This was life, messy, unpredictable, and real. And it's only the beginning of how this news reshapes everything. The bell hasn't rung, but the fight's already on, not in the ring, but in the hearts of everyone touched by this moment. As Seth vanishes behind the curtain, the arena shifts. Backstage, wrestlers pour out. Roman Reigns hits the ramp first, his face stoic but his eyes wet. He climbs into the ring, grabs Seth's dropped mic, and simply says, "She's family. We've got her." The crowd roars approval. Charlotte flares next, her blonde hair catching the light. She's Becky's fiercest rival. Those matches in 2018 were brutal, but tonight, she's a friend. She hugs Seth backstage, then steps out, raising 2 fingers in a salute to the man. Bayley follows, tears streaming, waving to the crowd. Sasha Banks, Triple H, even Drew McIntyre, they all come, a sea of black and gold filling the ring. It's not a segment, it's a statement. Becky's not alone. Online, it's pandemonium. X lights up within minutes. The hashtag Pray for Becky trends worldwide. Trending on X, racking up millions of posts. Fans share clips, Becky's spear through a table, her "I am the man" promo, her hugging Seth after a win. One tweet reads, "Becky Lynch carried women's wrestling on her back. Now we carry her." It's got 50,000 likes in an hour. Wrestling legends chime in. Stone Cold Steve Austin tweets, "Hell of a woman, hell of a fighter. Thoughts with Becky and Seth." Trish Stratus writes, "She's the reason I'm proud of this era. Stay tough, Bex." John Cena's post is simple: strength. Respect. Even non-wrestlers, actors, athletes, jump in, proving Becky's reach goes beyond WWE. The next day, news outlets run with it. ESPN's headline, WWE star Becky Lynch steps away amid health crisis. CNN calls her a pioneer facing her toughest battle yet. Fan sites crash from traffic as people flood forums with messages, some speculating, most just praying. A YouTube tribute video hits 1 million views overnight. Back in the arena, the fans don't leave. They stay, chanting, holding up phones with flashlights like a vigil. WWE cuts the broadcast, but clips leak online. Roman hugging Seth, Charlotte leading a "Thank you, Becky" chant. It's raw, unscripted, and it's why we love this crazy world of wrestling. So what now? Becky's out, indefinitely, and the ripple effects are massive. She's not just a wrestler, she's the heartbeat of the women's division. Her absence leaves a gaping hole. WWE's already scrambling. Word is, next week's Raw will feature a tribute match, maybe Bayley versus Charlotte, with proceeds going to a health charity Becky picks. A tournament for an interim title's rumored too, but no one wants to replace the man. Her legacy? Untouchable but unfinished. Becky's 36, young by life standards, prime by wrestling ones. She's got years left, titles to chase, records to break. If she beats this, and we believe she will, she could return to the biggest pop in history. Imagine WrestleMania 42. Becky's music hits, the roof blows off, Seth's in her corner. It's the comeback story we'd all die for. For Seth, it's trickier. He's a top guy, Universal Champion material, but his focus is shifting. He might take time off, scale back, be there for Becky and Rue. In a post on X, he said, "Wrestling's my soul, but they're my heart." If he stays, expect promos with extra fire, matches with deeper stakes. He'll fight for her. WWE's bigger picture shifts too. The women's division, elevated by Becky's revolution, needs a new torchbearer. Rhea Ripley? Liv Morgan? Someone's got to step up. Storylines might pivot. Maybe a heel faction mocks Becky's absence, sparking a babyface uprising. Survivor Series could be dedicated to her, a night of defiance and hope. And Rue, their little girl, keeps it personal. Seth and Becky shield her from the spotlight, but she's their why now. Every choice they make is for her future too.